The Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference is coming to Dallas, Texas, February 16, 17, and 18 in 2018. If you know of a better way to get the latest insider knowledge about crypto, to hear directly from the top minds in this field, to interact personally with 800 fellow crypto lovers, hodlers, investors, miners, traders, developers, and founders, then I'd like to hear about it. If you don't, then you don't want to miss out. Register today for the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference. Go to bitcoinsuperconference.com and register today as a super early bird to get the lowest rates on tickets and hotel rooms. That's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost Here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where it is you are in the world. This is Tracy Murda on behalf of Richard Jacobs here at Future Tech Podcast. Today, I'm excited to welcome a very special guest, Jeffrey Vier. Jeffrey is the director of Ideas by Nature. Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for inviting me, Tracy.
How's the weather out there in Denver today?
It is a beautiful bluebird day. I am looking out at the Front Range right now as we speak. Very lovely.
Very, very jealous as I find myself here in Dallas. Well, Jeffrey, what it is that Ideas by Nature really does?
Ideas by Nature is an over 6-year-old firm now, and we are everything from a digital consultancy, as much of our leadership comes from entrepreneurial backgrounds, myself included, building digital products in a variety of different industries. But we design and develop large brands and digital products, and primarily now in the blockchain technology space. And that could be everything from working with an existing core development team who needs to stand up a product and needs more application layer development to working with big enterprises who are going through rebrands of their identity and their interfaces and digital products, as well as working with some actual protocols with their core dev teams on some local protocol level development.
Jeff, what is your background in the blockchain space? When did you get involved, and kind of what was your pull toward this field?
Yeah, sure. So, my partners and I at Ideas by Nature had gotten personally interested in the space in 2012, 2013. We were playing around with it in the office quite a bit. We were geeking on it in every sense of the word. At the time, we were building a lot of startup products, native mobile applications primarily for entrepreneurs here in Denver, and we became more and more interested in Bitcoin and using Bitcoin and understanding the technology and wanting to play with the Bitcoin daemon and understand it at a core level. And we decided, let's fly this flag and accept Bitcoin as a payment and see if we can attract any of these founders in the space. And that's really how we got involved. We kind of we flew that flag as we're an agency and we'll accept Bitcoin as payment in an effort to gain some attention and get the opportunity to build products in the space. And that's where we found ourselves today. Fast forward 4 years.
So if you would say list the major benefits of a company working with you, what would that look like?
I think that what you get with Ideas by Nature, which you may not get working with any other, call it digital or creative or development agency, is our understanding of the technology. One of the things we like to say is we understand the technology. Let's talk about the product. Working with any other digital product agency or development house, the first thing they're going to ask you is to explain what it is you're doing, what this technology is, and what it means. And we already understand that much. So we can really work with a client to understand what they're trying to stand up as a product and as it's going to be used by users, and actually building something to ship versus having to go through the learning curve of what it is they're actually building on and what it is they're building for in this kind of new digital economy and kind of distributed proof of ownership type space.
So Jeff, tell me some actual use cases. I think that always kind of helps put it in perspective when we can go, look at it from, all right, this company has worked with you, this is what you developed, those types of things. Is there anything that you can, share for our listeners?
Like as far as products and brands that we work with in the space, the most notable one that people know us for is our work with ShapeShift, which is a large anonymous exchange, and that was actually a product that was born out of Ideas by Nature. It was, I guess, the joke we like to make, it was actually the second product that we worked on in the space, but with the same founder. So that's the one that people like to point at, but we work with on a lot of products with that team. A big one that launched under ShapeShift brand is Prism more recently, and we also work on projects like that. And we also work with companies like KeepKey, doing even like firmware and hardware development as well as software. At the protocol level, we work with teams like Dash to augment some of the products that they're trying to get into space, as well as just do more unit testing and work with their core dev teams. More recently, we were working with a really exciting firm called Salt Lending, which we're really, really excited about. We think it's going to be a fascinating and really, really useful product as more and more people want to kind of experience the liquidity of their digital asset holding in a national currency way. Salt Lending is going to offer the ability to collateralize your cryptocurrency or digital asset holding. So if you have, $1 million worth of Bitcoin, but you don't want to come out of your Bitcoin position, you can actually collateralize that as a loan, get a cash loan, and spend that cash, and while your collateral sits in a multi-signature wallet and goes up in value, you get your loan back, and then you've actually never paid any interest. So that's a really exciting product that we're working on too. We also work with like big brands like Digital Currency Group and CoinDesk just on their own side projects and brands and web updates and things like that.
Excellent. So what has been, how long you've been involved in this space for quite some time, so I'm sure you've seen, things come and go. What has been your experience, or what are some of the difficulties in doing what it is that you all do within the blockchain space?
Sure. The way to think about us is like we are a product development house, right?
Uh-huh.
So, we're building products that live on top of these protocols. And, more recently, people have been feeling the pains of things like scaling. And that directly affects us while we're trying to build on top of a protocol that has bandwidth constraints and has scaling constraints. So, we have to deal with those problems at a protocol level. And we're dealing with, early days, wallet providers and service providers who have APIs where we're actually needing to work with those teams to help to contribute to their APIs to update them, because we're running into issues where we actually need to produce products where the APIs aren't there yet. So I think that's probably the most challenging thing we've come across, working back in early web days or just building native mobile applications. There was already a tremendous amount of open source support for building products in those environments, and this is brand new. So we're actually needing to be, in the weeds, producing solutions versus Googling for them, because those options often aren't available.
Right. Okay. Now, how have you seen the blockchain technology in the space that you're working in sort of change and evolve throughout the years, and where do you kind of see it going? I know that's like the ultimate question, right? Especially when it comes to blockchain. Where do you see your place in the blockchain future within, let's say, 5 years?
We're very, very passionate about working in this space. I like to always remind people here that, like, if we didn't if we didn't stumble into this technology and really dive in head first and start working in it, I probably would have found myself working in straight design or something that has excited me as much as blockchain technology has. I think that where we still hold, I guess, our mission statement or mantra is like we want to work alongside founders to bring this technology to people. And that really, for us, is producing good products. So we want to work alongside large, companies who are capitaled and more enterprise, and helping them to augment their teams so that way they can accelerate solutions to all their users where they normally might not have been able to. And also something we're really, really passionate about that we'll never stop doing is working with startups. So working with startups who have really, really incredible ideas, but maybe not the technical or even business know-how to stand it up and actually produce something from it. And that's something that we'll always be pushing as well. So on one end, we think it's really, really important, and we'll always be contributing and working alongside big teams as kind of like an ancillary team or an adjunct team to bring some of their new products to life, as well as developing entirely new ideas with startups who don't have the ability or support to do it on their own.
And that's got to be exciting to work with startups. So to see all of what it takes, I guess, to be a successful startup. I mean, kind of veering off topic here. What has it been when you've seen these companies come along? What are some of the strengths that the successful guys have versus those who maybe fall short and don't make it too far?
Sure. That's a great question. I think that my partner John and I at one point were sitting in an investment summit, and this VC stood up and he said, the first three things that are important about your company is team, team, and team. And that's something that we've absolutely seen as well. We can tell right away, just based on the team that's coming to work with us and the variety of skill sets and proficiencies that they're going to be bringing to the project and being able to contribute, that it's going to be largely contributive to the success overall of that idea. So that's something we're paying very, very close attention to. Obviously, if an idea is good or an idea is great, obviously that's wonderful too, and we have the skill set on our side to actually build businesses and build products and help those clients to kind of imagine their ideas and bring them kind of to life beyond just that conceptual way. But I think that we're really, again, concentrated on working with fantastic teams, and those are the arrangements that we see being most successful. What
kind of new technologies and new announcements do you guys have coming down the pipeline that you can share with our listeners?
Right. Being an agency, let's say that we are a blockchain agency, we don't get to have that splendor of being able to share all of the exciting things that we're working on. That being said, we're working on really, really cool projects with, other than the projects I mentioned, like salt lending, but we're working on really cool projects in like renewables and gaming platforms and the stuff that has gotten us excited since day one. It's good, like social good platforms and gaming platforms are really, really exciting to us being a development company. And we've got some really, really cool projects that are going to be coming out in 2018 that I would love to talk more about, but I can't. That's just kind of the nature of our industry and our business.
Now, when you were talking about the salt lending, I don't think maybe you can't, but you didn't mention when that would be coming out.
I don't think that they've announced a formal start date when they're going to be issuing consumer level or lay person lending, meaning like anyone who's holding a purse of cryptocurrency to come and actually take out a cash loan. But I do know that at the end of this year, they're going to be starting to onboard people onto the platform in a much more active way. So, and people are very, very excited about that, ourselves included. So do be on the lookout for that.
Excellent. Well, Jeff, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to our listeners today. Now, for anyone who would like more information on Ideas by Nature, what's the best way to reach out to you folks?
Sure. The easiest way to reach out to us is to go right to our website. That's what most people do. So, just ideasbynature.com and go to our contact form. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to. The stronger likelihood is that you'll get on the phone with me, and I'll, take the call personally, or someone else on my team, and we'll take the time to listen to you and make an introduction and learn about what your idea is and what you're trying to accomplish. That's probably the easiest way, is just to go right through our website.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. And for our listeners, again, this was Jeffrey Vier, the Director of Ideas by Nature. Jeffrey, we look forward to seeing where you all go here in the near future.
Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
The Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference is coming to Dallas, Texas, February 16, 17, and 18 in 2018. If you know of a better way to get the latest insider knowledge about crypto, to hear directly from the top minds in this field, to interact personally with 800 fellow crypto lovers, hodlers, investors, miners, traders, developers, and founders, then I'd like to hear about it. If you don't, then you don't want to miss out. Register today for the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Super Conference. Go to bitcoinsuperconference.com and register today as a super early bird to get the lowest rates on tickets and hotel rooms. That's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.